Hello everyone, this is Varsha and you are watching the series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. So as you all know, the series is all about the prominent achievers of our country who have made India proud in some way or the other. The main focus of our series is to make you all know about the success and achievements of our prominent guest. So today, in the same sequence, we have with us Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, who is the Director and Global CEO of DTM Global Holdings. So before we actually start the conversation with him, let's quickly have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hello, Mr. Sanjeev. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having.
I'm good too, sir. Thank you so very much for joining us. So, before we actually start the conversation, please tell us something about you, as in who you are and what you do.
So yeah, that's a good question. So I would say I'm a product of curiosity and trial and error. As a professional, obviously, I run a company called DTM Global Holdings. I'm the global CEO and a director. After graduating, finishing my business degree and my master's degree, I worked for a major Wall Street firm, and from there, the journey evolved, and I would say, curiosity is what has been powering my journey, my growth, my personal development. So I decided to be an entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur journey is obviously a different ballgame altogether. So I you could qualify me as a serial entrepreneur. I have a number of businesses. DTM Global is one of them. So that's basically my background in a snapshot.
Right. So, Mr. Sanjeev, I'm, very keen to know that how did you actually land up to the idea of starting up with this particular segment?
So yeah, that's a good question. DTM Global, what basically it translates to is dynamism, transcendence in motion, and I literally mean that. So look, anything starts with an idea. I mean, be it a nation state, society, or the idea of financial market and business. So for about a couple of years ago, I would say 3 years ago, in fact, we've been looking at various markets. We've been trying to understand, look at the Indian market, look at the Asian market. And what we saw is that, look, we have other businesses. So what we saw is there are 4 key areas that we need to serve when we're talking about a human being. So starting with health, then you have money, that is the funding part, the financing part. So you've sorted out the money part, you've sorted out the health part. Then you have to sort out the education part, and then you have to address the environmental impact of it. So DTM kind of came about from that philosophy, from that idea that how do we put together a business that is able to address the core 4 basic need of people, starting with health, education, environment, and obviously the financing part of it. So DTM is an amalgamation of a number of businesses, it being a holding company, and we built various businesses around it. And we see that as a growth area. All of these specific is a growth area, and as long as human beings are around, these areas will continue to be a growth area. And that's what we are focusing on. As we go, as we evolve, these things will get complex. That's the beauty of an idea. Initially, we had one idea, and it has evolved. The businesses have evolved, and it has taken a life of its own. So we will see where it goes. But the basic thesis was to kind of address these four requirements, these four needs.
Right, sir. So, Mr. Sanjeev, moving ahead, thinking of an idea and its implementations are actually two very different things. So, if I talk about your journey, so what sort of challenges were faced by you while moving ahead in it?
Again, a very pertinent question. The challenges are many. I mean, getting the right people, understanding the landscape, getting the right funding support. These are just some of these challenges that we've been facing. But to top that up, you have the pandemic that and the extent to which it has created. I mean, you had lockdowns after lockdowns. Not in India. I mean, you had a serious lockdown, but you have a situation which nobody could predict the magnitude of it. So what we had to do is we had to think on our feet. We had to go back and change our strategy. We had to evolve. We had to adapt very quickly. We went into a survival mode instantaneously. Then it was all about stabilizing the business. And then from process of trial and error, you make mistakes, you learn from it, you forgive those mistakes because there is no manual for a business to operate in a pandemic environment. You've seen the movies, etc. But when you are facing a real world example, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. You have to keep your business stable. You have to keep your people safe. You have to protect your business, protect the value that you've created so far, and you also be focused on the future. You have to be very patient, and you have to know that this will be over, and it'll be over. But you'll have to make good decisions in the short term, good decisions in the midterm, and also be focused on the long term. So it has been a basket of things. You always know that there are so many known unknowns, and there's so many variables. And there are challenges that you can see, and you evolve with it, you adapt, and there are challenges that comes and hits you. And the pandemic has been one of those challenges that has hit us, and I think everybody. And through a process of trial and error, we have managed it, and fingers crossed. Let's see how we go from here.
Right. So, what kind of product and services does your organization provides to people out there? Elaborate a bit about that, please.
So, look, as I was saying, that the ecosystem that we have built, which is the GTM Global, which is a holding company, where we are focusing on four key areas, as I was saying. So you have the health part of it. So we have a health tech business, which is a separate business under the holding co. And we have which is a marriage of traditional health and the technology. Then we have a financing business. Then we have an education business, which is an ed tech. And then we have an environment business, which is the clean tech, which is the EV charging, e-mobility, and all of that. Now, all these businesses are separate businesses, operational business that are independently run. What we are focusing on is making sure that we reach to the length and the breadth of the country. We reach the rural population. We reach the remote population. We reach the tier 2, tier 3 cities across the country, and also while serving our customers in obviously tier 1 market. Now, I'll give you an example. So on our fintech ecosystem, what we call a fintegration platform, we are working with partners who are smaller banks, cooperative banks, smaller NBFCs, and we saw a real problem there. Real problem being they're falling short on their KYC, their AML, the regulatory compliance, etc. We've seen a lot of that happen through RBI initiatives, etc. So what we're doing is we are helping them upgrade their compliance regulatory, not just in line with RBI guideline, but a global gold standard, and that's one of the businesses that our fintech business is supporting. So it's a very collaborative approach. We are also helping smaller business, smaller banks, cooperative banks, increase their footprints by giving them access to state-of-the-art, again, very deep tech platforms, remote banking, branchless banking, also fintech lending platforms, etc. So they kind of integrate themselves on our platform, and they're able to do better risk modeling, better lending. So they have lesser non-performing loans and assets in their balance sheet going forward. So that's the fintech area. We're making sure they're able to better serve their customers. And what we're also doing is we want to make sure that they benefit from our ecosystem. So we have banking as a software application services, the BOS solution, the SaaS solution. So we are also enabling them to serve their own customers, SMEs, etc., individuals as well. So this is the collaborative approach. On the edtech side, what we're doing is we're working with a number of education providers across the length and breadth of the country. The way we work with them is we are not in the disruption game. We are not disrupting their business model. Our job is an enabler job. So we are basically transforming the education sector. So we have a program targeting young adults where we are working with schools, and we have a Wisdom Accelerator program where we are helping kids get the right skill set that will help them in their journey throughout, help them with confidence building, help them with right decision making, etc. And help them with their personal development as well. So we are supporting the schools. So we are letting the school carry the academia and the academics, but we are taking and complementing it on the personal development side of it. And then we have created courses through our EdTech platform, again, in partnership with school, which is very forward-looking programs and courses like AI, machine learning, space, and all the forward-looking, futuristic trends that a young adult will want to be part of. So that's one of the programs that we have created under, Wisdom Accelerator program, and we are working with schools across Tier 1 cities in India. We are going to partners in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and these are exclusive programs which is focused on helping the young adults develop. And then we have created a retreat as well. So that will be an annual retreat, and we are partnering with global platforms like Davos, etc. So the kids can go to an event like Davos and participate in it, and again improve their own personal development and growth. In the EdTech part, we are also making sure we are there for the professionals, young professionals, in giving them lifelong learning, skilling, upskilling. And what we're doing is we are making sure we are their partners in their journey. So we want to make sure that they are also on a part of, on a path of personal development. So we are making sure we have dedicated people in assessing them, understanding their skill set, working with them, giving them the right skill set, validating that right skill set that we have developed organically and globally, and also in partnership with our local partners in India, and also helping these individuals, professionals throughout their career. So we help them with their placement, we help them gain the right type of skill. So that's the education part of it, and there are a number of other things that we are doing. On the health tech part, with our company, Harley Street Healthcare Group PLC, which is our London business, we created a brand called Harley Street Healthcare Clinics of London, and that's a polyclinic setup. And what we do there is we are going again into the remote areas, the rural areas, and we have an entrepreneurship model where we are working with entrepreneurs. If there is existing partners, we do a joint venture with them, and we provide them the know-how, the skill that our business has developed in the UK and across the world for over 30 years. And we are offering those services powered by technology to people in the rural parts of India. And our aim is to develop a very high quality healthcare service and deliver them very affordable at a very affordable pricing to people who need it. And that's why we want to work with local healthcare providers as well. So that's our healthcare business. And again, it's an expansive business. We are expanding as I speak. And then we have an EV charging business. Again, we know the environment is key, and there is a lot of car-related pollutions, etc., in India. So we have an EV charging business. Again, it's an entrepreneurship model. So what we are doing is we are creating more entrepreneurs. We have a partnership model where we will select entrepreneurs and we will work them, and these entrepreneurs take the product from us and then create employment, and we help them get financing as well. So that's more or less, without getting into too much detail, the exact ecosystem of what we have under DTM Global Holdings.
Amazing, Mr. Sanjeev. Okay, so now talking about the future, so what further plans do you have for your organization in the upcoming years? Tell us a bit about that, please.
So, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, a future is so much unknown. You just don't know. I mean, there's so many unknown variables. And the funny thing about plan is it will change. We see ourselves as a business that will live for at least a few hundred years. So that's part of our plan. We want to build a business that continuously create value. Across the board, not just our as a business, our shareholders, but also the society at large. We think it's important for businesses to understand that society matters. We are building a people-centric business. We want to create a business around people. In terms of growth, all of the area that we have, I've been just talking about, we see growth for at least 15 plus years in India, double-digit growth. We want to be in areas that are underserved throughout the country. That's why we are focusing more on rural areas, tier 2, tier 3 cities, remote areas. But we want to have presence in tier 1 cities as well. So we feel very, very confident, and our self-belief comes from the journey that we have taken as a business. That we think we have the right type of business model, we have the right type of strategy, and right type of people. Because at the end of it, it's all about making sure you have the success of any of our future plan rely on the potential future value of the idea and people and the ability of our people to execute it. So we are hoping that we will be a sizable business in India that is very people-centric, that is very transforming and engaging business. And obviously, in doing all of that, I want to make sure that we continue to create value and we build a business that will outlive us, and that will last for a few hundred years. So I guess I guess that's more or less the plan. I mean, I don't want to bore you with the detail of what our growth projections, etc., that we have planned for. But that's where we are focusing on right now. We feel that we will have a double-digit growth in all our businesses. We feel we'll be able to deliver a lot of value for our shareholders and the society at large. And we want to build a sustainable business that is sustainable over long term and is able to grow and is able to make a very significant social impact as well. So that's more or less an outline of what we have, what we are thinking, and what our future plan is.
And I'm pretty sure that you'll be coming out as a rising star in these plans of yours too, Mr. Sanjeev. Okay, so now moving ahead, though I know that you're living abroad, but still you must be knowing about the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign that is going on in India as of now. So, what are your thoughts and views on this mission, and also how is your organization working towards this campaign?
I think it's a very important step. And I think most of our businesses that I was talking to you about is focused on creating self-sufficient business in India. Whether we are building skill set in our edtech through our edtech business, or whether we are developing the new fintech ecosystem, or whether we are, let's say, for example, our branchless banking, remote banking, a lot of that is happening locally in India. So I would say we have bought into the overall idea of what we would call a self-sufficient India, and it is the right strategy. I mean, we've all seen what happens during the pandemic time. So for us, we are committing to it. We are doing a lot of work already towards self-sufficient India. I mean, whether you look across any of our businesses, a lot of value that we are creating and retaining is locally, and any of our product development, any of our manufacturing that we are doing is again happening locally. I would say almost 90% of that is local. So we remain committed to it, and I think we are personally also I'm a believer of the idea. I think it's a good idea because you can be global, but you need to make sure your businesses have self-sufficiency as and when required. So that's where we are in terms of what we see and what our vision is. I would say we are more or less aligned with the vision that the government has in creating a very self-sufficient country and very self-sufficient India in this case.
All right. So now there is this one question which I personally wanted to ask you, and that is, what are your feelings on winning this Indian Achievers Award? I mean, what were your reactions when you actually got the news that you have been, selected as an awardee for the same?
Oh, well, that's I think anybody likes to be acknowledged. So acknowledgement is a good thing, and I think I think Indian Achievers Forum is a great forum, and you guys are doing great work. And thank you. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised, I must say. I just hope that people will get inspiration, and I'm sure there are a lot of good people out there who are doing amazing work, and I hope you continue to find them. The forum continues to find them.
Right, and I once again congratulate you on the achievement, Mr. Sanjeev. Okay, so now moving ahead, tell us a bit about the CSR activities that you are involved in.
So for us, social engagement is very important for us, and we want to build a business that is focused on the society, people-centric business. Because look, for me personally, I believe that without people, there is no value to a business. I mean, there is no financial market, there is no value to gold, there is no value to currency, there is no value to a nation state. So what we are doing is on our fintech side, we have very strong financial inclusion strategy where we are making sure that people who have not been able to participate so far directly in the economy, we are enabling our partners to go and reach them, and through technology enable them to participate in it. And we want to make sure that some of these misallocation of capital that has happened in India through Ponzi schemes, etc., are weeded out, because the capital market needs to be deepened as well, because a deeper capital market means it's good for the society. People across India will have access to capital. So that's something that we take it very seriously. On the health side, obviously, we want to make sure that people across the country have access to very high quality healthcare, and it's affordable healthcare. So what we are also doing is, while being commercial, we are partnering with NGOs, etc., both local and global, who are with operations in India, and we are making sure that we are able to deliver a sizable amount of free healthcare as well to people who need it. So, and then we have the skilling program, where we are making sure we are working with young adults, women, and empowering them to make sure that they have the right skill set, they have the right resources, and in cases where they need funding, we will make sure that funding is available either through affordable financing or in some cases grants, etc. as well. So that's something that we believe it's important in a country like India. The other thing that we are working on is we feel the success of ISRO should be celebrated, and it can inspire a new age, new group of young adults in India. So we are working with younger populations younger population across the country to make sure that if there are people, if there are young adults who have this fascination with space, etc., that they're given the right resources, be it through workshop, be it through training, be it through sponsorship, etc. So we are doing all of that. And obviously, environment is key for us. So we have smart city programs as well. We are making sure that we deliver that for people. And now that you are in a digital age, the government is focused also more on digitalization as well. So we're making sure people understand the value of protecting their digital identity. So we are offering affordable cybersecurity insurance products as well. We are through the education side. We're working with people on educating them financially, making them financially literate as well, to understand that they should not get kind of attracted by schemes like Ponzi schemes and fall a victim to it. So this is part of what we are doing, but this is something that I would personally like to continue to do. And there is a lot of things that needs to be done in India. So we'll see how far we can go and what sort of partnership we can build. But we want to make sure that we are a very people-centric business. We create value that can be distributed across, and the society that we operate in gets a lot of benefit of it. Because we see what's happening across the world, where people are struggling because capitalism, as such as it is, has not been able to deliver for a large amount of people. And there is a disconnection because people feel that the rich are not able to work for them, deliver for them, and the economy is not delivering for them. And I think the onus is on companies like ourselves to make sure we build the value system, we create enough wealth and value that could be passed on to people in the society at large.
All right. So, before concluding our lovely session, what piece of advice you would like to give to our younger generation who, wish to become successful entrepreneurs someday?
Wow, I honestly don't have any advice, but what I'll say is that, look, it is a very hard journey. It is very tough. It can be very lonely. You will fail a lot of time, but you will have to back yourself. You will have to become your biggest investor. You will always be your biggest investor. And you will have to do things that has not been done before. You will have to listen to a lot of rejection. You will go through phases where you will be depressed. So it's all part of it. I would say nature is a prime example of being an entrepreneur. That's what I realized, that nature never tires, nature never gives up. And imagine if nature gave up. We won't be around if nature gave up. So being an entrepreneur is pretty much taking nature as a reference and say, look, I have to be at it. I have to be stubborn. I have to, have the mindset where I will keep trying. If I get hit hard and I fall, it's okay. I will get up again and try again, and then I'll have to do things that maybe nobody has done before. And I don't think I or anybody can teach anybody how to succeed. It's very difficult. Everybody has to have their own journey. Somebody takes a short runway to take off, and somebody needs a longer runway. But it's not just about taking off and succeeding. It's also about sustaining that success. And if you're at 40,000 feet, you can come down pretty hard. So you have to make sure you continue to evolve, you continue to adapt, and you have the right people around you, because having the right people is very essential to making sure you can sustain your success. So that's more or less what I would suggest, and what my experience that I've had so far. I would maybe if that could be used as a reference, I would be happy to be used as a reference.
That is a great piece of advice, I must say. Okay, so thank you so very much for being with us today, Mr. Sanjeev. It was pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors, and may you continue to inspire us the way you are doing. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. Take care and stay safe.
Sure.